kept his Preds in it, and the Preds eventually won. So that's my surprise.
So obviously you want the Bruins to win, but if you want them to get, who else do you think has a big shot at getting to the finals?
Vancouver's won, and I think Vancouver, and I think Washington. They were shoddy on defense last year, but they really worked on that this year, and I think they have a really great shot of making it to the final this year.
So something that I've kind of noticed about the Bruins, Tim Thomas, kind of sounds obvious, needs to play well in order for them to win. His importance to this team.
Oh my God! At times when it was 2-1 yesterday, he bailed them out. That save on Van Riemsdyk when the game was tied in the first period, brilliant. The power play when it was 2-1 early in the second period, he was also brilliant. He made the saves when he needed him most, and that's what he has to do.
He makes some of the most acrobatic saves I've ever seen. I mean, it's fun to watch, but it gets nerve-wracking.
Oh yeah, it does. So you see him, flop over the ice. There was that Richards chance in the third period where it went over his glove, and he had to to hop on it to make it bounce wide. He's unbelievable. That hybrid style, I can't teach it.
They're talking about the game yesterday. You can't teach how he plays goal, but it works for the Bruins, right?
Yep, it does.
Any other focuses that, obviously you touched on the power play. Yeah. Anyone that on the Bruins you might think need to play better to further their chance, further their winning?
For me, it is Milan Lucic. He's been off his game as of late. I think he's a minus player, like -1 or something. He's been taking stupid penalties. I think he really needs to wise up and play his game. I think he needs to be way more physical than he has been. And when he plays physical, he plays good.
That's true. All right. So on the Flyers, pick one player that the Bruins need to focus in on in order to win this series.
The Flyers. The Bruins really need to just make that Briere line and the Richards line non-existent.
Anything about Chris Pronger?
Chris Pronger, they need to just take care of him. You can't get distracted by that guy. That thing on Paille, I don't know how he got a penalty, but you just got to put that out and just play your game.
All right, so the Bruins come out with a convincing win yesterday. Hopefully they can keep doing that, but for now, go Bruins. We're going to take it back to K-Sports.
All right, welcome back. We have a very interesting topic to discuss about cheerleading. Rachel Sheenon blogs about something that has got her pretty upset, and perhaps rightfully so. Check this out.
Hi, I'm Rachel Sheehan. I'm a cheerleader, and I'm mad as hell. Why does cheerleading have to justify its role as a sport? I guess it depends on what your definition of a sport is. My definition of a sport is a human exhibition of mental and physical skill in a competitive environment. Competitive cheerleading certainly qualifies. The cheerleading you see at the Patriots game is not a sport. However, if the Patriots cheerleaders are competing against the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, that's a sport because it involves competition. I find it absolutely appalling that the NCAA has stripped cheerleaders of their scholarships. Cheerleaders have to work just as hard as all other sports, maybe even harder. Have you ever picked up a 105-pound young woman and thrown her 10 feet in the air? How about catch her? Teamwork is essential when you are a part of a cheerleading squad. It includes physical and mental skill, and you definitely see it exhibited at every game. In fact, it is just as physical as football, soccer, lacrosse, baseball, or any of those other scholarship sports that the NCAA approves of. So don't mess with cheerleading. And yes, it is a sport. I'm Rachel Sheehan for YBA Sports.
All right, thank you, Rachel. Well, as physical as football or baseball, I think we have a couple of analysts who would like to debate this. Nick, let's start with you.
Do cheerleaders get hit? No. In hockey and football, they get hit. Do they run back and forth through 40 minutes? No, they don't. Cheerleading, it does involve a lot of physical training. But it's not a sport. It's not
okay.
It's not like
so,
I see
wait,
anything.
But Nick, here we go again.
And you're still doing it.
I
Come
agree
on.
with you because cheerleading is not a sport in that sense.
I know it's not a sport. It's just people throwing their arms up saying, "Go Natick" or something. I've been
No.
to some high school games,
No, but I agree.
high school basketball games.
I agree with Rachel though, because if you look at the Patriots cheerleading, I agree in some sense. If you look at the Patriots cheerleading, that's not a sport. Dallas cheerleading, that's not a sport. Put them together, still not a sport. You put some flowers and some big, not a sport. No. But if you go to a competition strictly on cheerleading, cheer, and you have refs cheering, like, you know, actually watching it, and they go to competitions and they're doing flips and stuff and it looks cool, then yeah, maybe there's a slim chance of that being a sport. But of actual cheering, I disagree. Because that's not a sport. I could go out on the road and cheer for cars driving by like, woo, go 60. Is that a sport? I don't think so.
Well,
well,
I'm sorry, Nick. I just want to say
I was
it's
gonna
quite.
say a competition. Like, look at NASCAR. NASCAR is not a sport,
But
but that's a competition.
no, but it takes.
Well-
Yeah,
that's the thing
that's
though.
true.
That's where you're wrong. NASCAR actually takes skill, talent, has a huge fan base. Who's gonna go watch people who are fans, and then be fans of the fans? That's like going to a Patriots game to watch the fans. You want to go to the stands to watch the stands who are watching the players.
Yeah, like
see-
it's like saying, yeah, go guy with the beer, yeah.
You see, here's the thing.
That's true.
The problem
True.
that the cheerleading sport, I call it a sport too. What I think the problem really is the fact that, to be honest, they're cheering, as you said, for a team. They should have it as though the cheerleaders are sort of separate from that. So, like, you have a competition. So, if you have, say, these cheerleaders in a game, you can call it a competition where you say, these cheerleaders face off against these cheerleaders. And it goes back and forth, and they can see which ones perform the most moves. And then some certain judges, for example, can decide who does better and who gets the victory. That's what I think. So, you know, to be honest, I feel like it is a sport, but it's in the wrong place. It shouldn't be cheering for a team, because then it looks like it's just cheering being fans. You know what I mean? Like, it should be a cheerleading squad versus a cheerleading squad. 3 judges or 4 judges deciding who does the better in terms of their moves and everything, and then they get a victory or a loss.
All right.
That's how I look at it.
I say we go around. Last opinion on my side of the fence here. I say no, cheering is not a sport when you're cheering for someone, but at a competition, I'd say yes.
All
I
right.
think cheerleading is not a sport. As I said before, I've been to some Natick High basketball games. They're basically just jump up and down for 5 seconds saying, "Go Natick." That's not a sport. Come
Nick,
on,
what do you
man.
think?
It's not a sport. You could say it for a competition, but it's not a sport, okay? It's just not a
I'll
sport.
stand up to the
Thank you,
women here,
Nick.
and I'm going to say it is a sport. All right. So, up next, we'll break down Game 1 between the Celtics and the Heat. Who got the upper hand?
And that's why Josh is single.
We'll tell you all about it after we take a short time out. Don't go away, everyone.